Hey guys, so on this evening's Hopper Hot Take, let's take a look again at the state of Oklahoma and the Riley Boatwright Act. And again, for those who missed that the other day, this new legislation in the state of Oklahoma requires that schools have an emergency action plan on file with their EMS. If you missed that, I was pretty critical of that. The fact that we need a state law on that, I think, is upsetting. But I read today, yesterday, I don't know, everything runs together now, that apparently the state of Louisiana has similar legislation. Again, that's frustrating. Schools, it's not hard. It takes a little effort. But, I say it a lot. If you don't have an emergency action plan and something happens, you are negligent. And, that's the reality of it, the situation. So what goes in an emergency action plan? Real briefly, when I talk about emergency action plans, I talk about personnel, communication, and emergency equipment. Personnel, the ideal situation is have an athletic trainer on site, right? Have a team physician on site if you can. Have EMS on site for high-risk sports such as football or wrestling or, those types of things. But coaches, administrators, you still play a role in the emergency action plan, whether you have those people there or not. And if you don't have them there, you really play a role, right? Because now you're making the decisions, and that's a scary thought. Communication, who's going to call 911? How do you call 911? What gate are they coming in? What's the address for that gate? Now, let me give you an example of that. At our school, at Bishop Lynch, they ask, and I know because I've called 911 plenty of times, they ask for the school address, 9750 Ferguson Road. Great. When an injury occurs in the athletic complex, 9750 Ferguson Road's not going to do them very much good. That's a long way away from our athletic fields. Okay? So, I need to know that the back gate is at the intersection of Lindero and Inadale. Our coaches need to know that, right? And so that's, one of those points that needs to be driven home is not only knowing your school address, that's easy, but knowing where the ambulance is supposed to go and getting them in the right place. That's the harder part. Along those lines, communication. Somebody's got to call parents, right? If they're not at the game or practice or whatever it is. And third, somebody's got to contact administrators. I can tell you that an administrator does not want to get caught off guard with something like that, especially in the case of a catastrophic injury. An administrator does not want to get caught off guard with that. Don't let the first phone call to an administrator be from the local newspaper, the local news station. Okay, make sure that's coming from the coach or whoever's on site at a game. And third, let's talk about equipment. And probably the biggest key, I would say, in most cases, in a cardiac arrest event, obviously the big key is the AED. Where is it? How do you get to it? Is it accessible? Too often I hear about the AED being locked up in somebody's office. That is a terrible place for an AED. That must be accessible at any time during an athletic event. Better case, have the AED on site, right? We have an AED for us. We have an AED with us anytime that there is a game going on. The athletic trainer who is on site has an AED with them. It's on the bench. It's on the golf cart, whatever. So, but otherwise, talk about heat exhaustion or heat stroke, okay? Heat stroke. Get them in the tub. So you need to have a cold tub. Not expensive. You can go to Tractor Supply, Rural King for those of you in the Midwest. Something like that. You're looking at $100, $150. Not a big deal. Get some ice. Get a couple coolers. Be ready to get someone in the cold tub. Okay. Those types of things. Again. So you've got to have a plan. Not having a plan is no excuse. And be ready to do it. Be ready to execute. Be ready to go, because when a catastrophic injury occurs, you have zero time for hesitation.